welcome to another episode of the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. Folks, it's our job to give you some interesting news in the world of sports, entertainment, odd news, and whatever else we happen to stumble across in this hour or so long podcast. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm Rich Liebig.
And I'm Michael Costanzo.
And we're going to hit you with some topics coming up in just a bit. But before we get to all of the news at hand, Mikey, my friend, how you doing?
I'm good.
What's happening in Costanzo country?
You know, not much, but I
mean, we are in kind of
the
other than the news that we're going to get to with the Eagles and stuff.
Yeah.
This is usually the slow time of the year, I think, for you.
Yeah, football has ended, so there's not much going on in sports for me personally. But yeah, it's a little bit slower, but that means that I've had an opportunity to dive back into Baldur's Gate 3, which I'm still playing.
Everybody's still playing.
An embarrassing amount of hours in that game, but I finally made it to Act 2 after all that time.
Woo! You're a completionist, though. You love trying to get as much as you can.
Yeah, and I think there's going to I'm going to reach a breaking point where my fiance says, if we don't mainline the story, I'm going to stop playing. I'm already getting to the point where I go to a shop and she's like, okay. And immediately the phone comes out and she's like, done. Because admittedly, it is boring when you go to the shop. You have to, buy and sell all your different stuff. But it's getting so micromanagey for me because I collect everything. I do every mission that it's, I think, starting to become a drag on her.
Yeah.
So I have to start mainlining the story missions, much to my chagrin, probably.
Well, yeah, you either need to do that or you need to have a second save file where you can do the minuscule side missions on your own.
Or something like that.
Yeah, gotta do something. I don't know.
It's too big. People who are not used to playing games like that, I would imagine, find it incredibly tedious.
Yeah,
and long in the tooth. Unless you're into that kind of stuff, I'm into that kind of stuff. I mined every planet in Mass Effect 2.
Right, yeah.
Kind of player.
You sent out all the probes.
I sent out all the probes. I literally depleted almost every single planet. You don't need to. I just wanted to.
Well, it was very erotic. Yes, indeed. It was erotic.
You got to mine it till there's nothing left.
That's right.
So yeah, I have to kick it into high gear because eventually I'm going to run into issues where I want to play the Talos Principle 2 is going to be coming out, or I think is already out.
Yeah, it came out. Yeah, it's already out. Yeah.
So I got to play that. There's other games that are on my list that I got to play. So I gotta pick it up and finish this game at some point.
Yeah.
But I'm only a third of the way in. I'm like this is impossible. This game is
too
big.
It's a big game. It really is. It's almost like
massive.
A set of 3 games.
It is. If it were a developer who wasn't as good to its fans, they would have done Baldur's Gate 3 Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3 as separate standalone $50 experiences.
Yeah, and they would have charged
They
you.
absolutely could have.
Yeah,
absolutely. They didn't though.
Yeah,
it's the biggest bang for your buck you can get in games right now, I think.
Yeah, good guy, Larian Studios.
Absolutely. But when I'm not playing that, I'm watching Shogun on Hulu.
Oh yeah, a lot of hype around that.
Yeah, have you tried watching that one?
No.
It's good. It very much feels like a feudal Japan Game of Thrones minus the fantasy. There's a lot of politicking and subterfuge between these 5 powerful shogun, lordships, and there's a lot of maneuvering and things happening in the shadows kind of things, and it's really, really cool. I'm very invested. It's interesting seeing a show set in a part of the world that we don't get a lot of shows set in, so I found that very interesting. Yeah, it's just a fantastic show filled with lots of drama, lots of politicking, and the setting and the vibe is just really, really fun and unique right now. Nothing like it on TV right now.
Okay.
So
there you go.
Strongly recommend that. Just a few episodes in.
All right. I'm going.
What about you?
I guess I'm going the other way on the spectrum. Because I watched The Regime on Sunday night.
Okay. These were both of the shows that I talked about last week.
And yeah, I'm digging it. It's
Yeah.
very much like a Succession vibe meets like an insanely weird, kooky Eastern European powerful Russian family or something.
I mean, that's why I featured it in This Week in Entertainment. It sounds like an interesting combination.
Yeah.
So has it been worth the time?
I'm digging it.
Nice.
It's one of those shows that it's ridiculous how extreme the characters go.
okay.
So I don't know if that's everybody's cup of tea. Like I think I could tell Rachel was like, I don't.
So
give it another shot.
What
next
do
week.
you mean by you said more extreme? Like
the characters are
they
so out there.
Are they caricaturish? Like
Yes.
Okay.
And
So-
I like that.
Okay.
I don't mind that. That's fine by me.
From what I looked up about it before the episode that I mentioned it seems like it's meant to be kind of like it's a dramedy. It's supposed to be poking fun. It's supposed to be
It's a satire.
It's supposed to be exaggerated.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a satire.
So like the caricature nature of it is very much in line with what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm digging it. I can't wait to see what the rest of the season holds. I think everybody's just like a bunch of crazy characters.
Okay.
You know, there's a lot of similar threads between this and Succession. So I'm like, all right, I'm on board.
Okay. Another big hit for HBO then on their hands.
I mean,
like it.
potentially. I don't know how. We'll see how the rest of the season goes. But I'm in. I'm ready to see where the regime takes me.
All right. So lots of good news shows to check out between Shogun and the regime.
Yep.
That is something you can fill the downtime with during this time of year. Catching up on shows and checking out new stuff.
Yep. Although there are some off-season news in the world of football and some other things. So without further ado, how about we jump right into the first batch of topics that revolve around sports in the Sports Sampler.
So you're not good at sports. It's a very small part of life.
Sports. In your face. Ha ha!
Yep. Sports coming at you in your face here in the first part of the show. All right. Lots of NFL news to get to. You know what? How about we're in Philadelphia?
You want to start with the
Let's
big
start
Philadelphia
off.
news?
Yeah, because I'll get this right off my chest. The moment I saw, I think it was like 9:30, 10 o'clock, there was like a news bulletin that was like Jason Kelce to have a press conference at 1 p.m.
Yeah.
It was everybody just looked at each other in the office and was just like, oh,
Today's
no,
the day.
This is it. Yep.
Yeah.
We're sending the horse out to stud.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, there's no beating around the bush. Everybody probably knows already, but the perennial All-Pro, Pro Bowl legend of the Philadelphia Eagles, center Jason Kelce, has officially retired from the NFL.
Yep.
All 13 years as a Philadelphia Eagle, he went out with one of the best press conferences ever.
Yeah.
It was authentic. It was heartfelt. It was funny. It was engaging. Life lessons. I mean, like top to bottom, everything you could possibly want in the retirement announcement of a legend. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't like an Instagram post or whatever. It was a very heartfelt, authentic love letter almost.
Yeah.
To the sport, to the organization, to the city,
To Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I freaking loved. To me, the best part of that speech is the part where he mentions that some players can't play in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And it's just true.
It is. Absolutely.
I'm sorry. Some people place the blame on Philadelphia sports fans, but
I mean, maybe we share a part of it, but at the end of the day,
that's not it at all.
well, let me say what I'm going to say. We share a part. We do deserve some of the blame. We're very hard on our athletes, but at the end of the day, you're playing in the city for the fans.
Yes.
So if you can't take what the fans are giving to you, you got to find a different fan base.
Yeah.
You don't ask the fans to change for you. You have to adapt to them. It's all about being in it together. That's what it means to play for a fan base like the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, and we don't want lame excuses or, half-ass efforts.
Yeah.
You've got these loyal fans that tailgate, that spend all this money. You've got the crazy dude with the the face paint and the green hair
Yep.
that goes to every single Eagles game, no matter where it is. He'll probably somehow get to Brazil next year. I don't know how.
Probably.
But that's the lengths that Philadelphia fans are willing to go to.
We always travel well, Philadelphia fans. I don't know how, but they do.
Yeah. So, like,
This city-
if you come here and you tell us, "Oh, we're being too rough with you," well, you need to get a grip, because these fans are willing to do almost anything for you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean that's exactly right. And he touched on it in the speech, is if you work hard and you give it your all and you show up, then these fans will die for you. And you think of like your favorite Philadelphia Eagles athletes of all times. They're all guys who, were tops of their position, sure, but more than that, they got what it meant to have that work ethic and to show up and to put out for these fans. You like the Brian Dawkins types, the Jason Kelce types, who were just real.
Yeah.
And Jason Kelce was that. He was real. He kept it real. He let his emotions show. He gave it all on the field. He didn't sugarcoat things. And I think fans appreciated that. I know I appreciated that for the past 13 years, him keeping it real.
Yeah.
Helps that he was one of the best ever to play the game. But even the guys who aren't always the best, as long as they keep it real and they try their hardest and give 110%, for the most part, fans love them for it. That's all it takes.
Yeah. Jason Kelce, is he a Hall of Famer?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, I was reading some of the comments from like other players and everything, and everybody else in the league is like, better get the gold jacket fitted now.
Yeah.
First ballot. I mean, and it's not even a debate really, because he is the best center of all time. I'll go out on a limb and say that. I don't think there's any center in NFL history that has more all-pro selections than Jason Kelce, and also a Super Bowl championship and another Super Bowl trip.
He's got all the check marks that
He
you
has
want.
every single check mark, as well as being one of the most realest MFers ever.
Yeah.
On and off the field, he was the real deal.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a debate. 2029, he's eligible. I think he goes in first ballot, and I can't wait to hear that speech too.
Yeah.
That's going to look, man, he already was one of the best at his chosen career, but whatever career comes his way afterwards, he's going to be the best in that as well. He could be a fantastic public speaker. I think these broadcast networks would be insane not to pursue him for some kind of TV personality, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't want him to be like an announcer. I want him to be like, I don't know.
Like maybe like the talk show route kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like kind of do what he's doing on New Heights. Just
Yes.
in a more, not professional setting, but like a bit more polished setting.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I would like to see him in that kind of a role. But
man,
yeah, what a career.
What a career. I watched that press conference. I was getting choked up at times watching him getting choked up. It was something else. I'm rocking the jersey tonight.
Yeah,
for anybody that's not on the video feed. I got this jersey this past season because something in the pit of my stomach, I was like, this is it. I was like, this is the end.
Yeah.
So I was like, I better go get one of these now.
Yeah. So Mikey got he's representing right now.
Yeah. Man, I can't say enough amazing things about Jason Kelce. At one point, can you imagine that at one point there were talks about getting rid of him? Like, he wasn't always what people remember him as now. Like, there was a time where he was like, just coming out of college, he was undersized, and those first couple of years he was like a starter, but he was always kind of just like there.
Yeah.
And at some point the switch just kind of flipped. I think it was around like 2016, 2017 where we went on the run, and I think from that point on, he just took off and became like something else. I mean, just absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
But
hungry dogs run faster.
Hungry dogs run fast. This is. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little sad.
Oh yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
really sad.
I want to know what the team probably thinks. I mean, that's a huge loss to sustain. Coming off of how the season ended last year too.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at definitely losing Kelce. You're probably going to lose Fletcher Cox.
A lot of
probably
rumors
gonna
that
retire.
he's retiring too. Yeah.
You might possibly even Graham. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he might stick around one more year, but he's definitely at the end of his rope too. I don't know. I just get a sense that this is we're starting to get into that turn where it's time to rebuild again.
Well, the one thing about the Philadelphia Eagles that you really have to appreciate, for as long as we've been following them, they've really never had to undergo a hard rebuild or hard reset. Like they've always had like a year or two where they kind of like struggled, but then they bounced right back into it, you know? What was it? It was like 2010, 2011 we made the NFC Championship game. Then 2017 we win the Super Bowl. Then 2022 we make it back to another. Like we're always there, you know? There's never really a span of that many years where we're out of it over the past 2 decades.
Yeah, the only one I can think of are the last years of
Reed. It was
Reed and Chip Kelly.
yeah. And
Because even
yeah.
Doug Peterson,
Doug Peterson made it to the to the playoffs 3 of his
Yeah.
5 seasons.
right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, really, it's only those end of terms for Reed and Chip Kelly in my mind.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough year this season losing Jason Kelce. There's definitely going to be a learning curve switching over to Cam Jurgens in the center. We got to find somebody else to fill in at right guard now.
Yeah.
So you're not just losing one offensive line position. You're losing 2 when you think about it, because Cam Jurgens has to slide in and go back to the position he originally played, which is going to be tough. He hasn't done that yet in the NFL. And then you got to get a new guy to come in at right guard. So what do you think? Could this be an area where teams try to take advantage of us on the inside there of the line?
Well, it depends on how the Eagles address it.
Do you think they go offensive line in the draft?
Yeah, I think they're going to probably do a day 2 pick for
Okay.
offensive line.
I'm happy to hear you say day 2, because I think we have more pressing day 1 needs.
Yeah, I
Safety.
do too.
Corner.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Especially losing Bayard. That
Yep.
experiment didn't pan out yet.
Yep.
The first pick that the Eagles get, it has to be for a defensive back.
Has to be defensive back. If it's
There's
not,
nobody.
I don't know.
There's literally nobody else back there.
It's Darius Slay.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. That's the only guy.
Yeah. So I think day 1 draft is probably going to be a defensive back, and then day
Yeah.
2 is where you address offensive line.
Yeah, definitely.
But we'll see. We still got time leading up to the draft, and that leads to our next little subtopic here, because there is some rumors now flying. The NFL Combine was this past weekend, and it's funny. I think it was Rich Eisen or one of the ESPN shows. They said the NFL Combine is basically like the office gossip corner when you get back from a vacation.
Yeah.
That's when everything, you just start hearing all these rumors,
The
all
weird
these
rumors, a friend of a friend, the water boy of this team told a GM of another team, and yeah.
Yeah. So we have a little bit of a list here of things that has been leaked out to the press. But again, some of it could be true. Some of it could be smokescreen, because the draft is coming up.
This is the take it with a major grain of salt segment of the Sports Sampler. Lots of, weirdly, a lot of quarterback news.
Yes.
Ahead of, after the Combine, ahead of the draft. There's one in here that I forgot to put in that I know you're going to want to talk about. Maybe we should talk about our most heated rival, the Dallas Cowboys. You said that Dak Prescott was not guaranteed a contract this upcoming season, an extension.
Yeah. So
That Jerry Jones says playoff win or bust.
Yeah.
What's up with this?
Yeah. This is actually, now this I know directly came from Rich Eisen, which wow. All right. I might hold the salt then, because Rich Eisen.
You're holding the salt shaker. All right.
Yeah. Rich Eisen is usually pretty reliable. He's usually, you know, he's a card-carrying member of the NFL Network. He usually knows what's going on.
Right.
According to him, he said that Jerry Jones is not going to do a single thing with Dak's contract, which is very surprising considering Dak is coming into the last year of his contract this year.
He carries
He's carrying
cap hit.
a $59 million cap hit.
That's pretty big.
Yeah.
That's pretty big.
If you're, Jerry Jones said a couple weeks ago he wants to go all in on this season. Well, that's going to be very difficult if you got to pay $59 million to one player.
Yeah, regardless of whether you like Dak Prescott at quarterback or not, which I think the Cowboys would be insane not to like him at this point. You'd want to restructure so you could free up cap space right now.
If you want to quote go all in, yeah, you would think that would be the plan.
This doesn't make any sense. I mean, it doesn't make sense from a team building standpoint. It doesn't make sense from a cap management standpoint. It doesn't make sense from a team morale standpoint. It just it's like almost so unbelievable. It has to be wrong.
It has to, like either that or are there
Jerry Jones is like late stage dementia or something. I don't understand.
Or are there serious doubts with Dak? Maybe he's not the future.
As an Eagles fan, I think Dak is trash. But that's my biased opinion. My unbiased opinion is that Dallas would be absolutely insane not to re-sign Dak Prescott, which is why I think it's a great move.
Yeah, I mean, personally, this move is great.
Personally, keep at it, Mr. Jones.
Yeah, this muddies the water. Like this throws everything kind of in like a little bit of chaos.
Yeah, personally, I love it.
Yeah. Go ahead. Try this move. See how that helps you.
But take off the Eagles hat for a second. NFL fan hat, Rich. It's insane, right?
Oh, yeah. Because
absolutely bonkers.
Well, because you should know at this point, is he going to be the franchise quarterback for the next couple of years? If so, then you want to restructure and get that locked down.
Right. And I think that, one, they've already committed so much to him to at this point be like, no, never mind. He's still relatively young. He puts up the numbers, winning season after winning season,
but not in the playoffs.
But neither did anybody else. Only one team wins it all.
Well, maybe Jerry Jones is realizing he's knocking on death's door and he needs some playoff wins before he dies.
If that's the case, he better, I don't know, offer every free agent out there a free glory hole to come to Dallas to win one.
Well, that is a hell of an offer to make with some people.
I want me some glory hole.
There you go. That's his opening offer.
I want me some glory hole.
I mean, like, he says he wants to go all in, but he doesn't want to restructure contracts to make it possible. So
I want me some glory hole.
Like, what else are you going to offer them?
Yeah.
No, I just
$50 million in a glory hole. Yeah.
I want me some glory hole.
That's a damn good deal right there. No, they should know if Dak Prescott is the future or not. I think they'd be ridiculous to try and go a different direction because he's proven that he can win. He's proven that he has the ability. I think Dallas's faults lie more in their terrible coaching and the fact that they're just a dysfunctional franchise. I don't think the player has anything to do with it.
Yep. They just lost their defensive coordinator too.
Yeah, so
it's going to be very interesting coming up.
As an NFL fan, I don't understand it. As an Eagles fan, this is the absolute perfect move.
Honestly, I've texted this to you multiple times. I got a strange feeling that Washington is going to make a rebound in 2024.
You have been saying that.
The Eagles are hurting. The Eagles are I hate to say it. I think the Eagles
physically and emotionally.
Yeah,
now
they are going to be hurting this upcoming season.
Yeah.
Dallas is doing some weird stuff that I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. But you know what? Go ahead, you have fun with whatever experiment you're trying to do, Jerry Jones.
The Giants are just content to hang out in the basement.
The Giants passed on Saquon Barkley. They're letting him walk in the free agency.
And there's this rumor spreading right now that they're done with Daniel Jones. I don't know if they're going to cut him or try to deal him, but
I would imagine they're going to try and deal him, get something for him.
Looks like full rebuild over in the Meadowlands.
Yeah,
so.
They're probably doing a rebuild. I mean, Washington is really the only team that they've got a sense of optimism in 2024. New owner, new coach, number 2 overall draft pick, easier schedule.
There's a strange sense of momentum.
Yeah.
Where Dallas was like, it's our season, and then whoops, no, it's not. The Eagles the Eagles kind of knew what was going to happen, even though we all deluded ourselves into thinking it wouldn't, and then it did. The Giants, they're
just on their own.
They're just the Giants right now.
Yeah.
But Washington, they're the only team that I almost get the vibe that they're like, we control our own destiny.
Yeah.
You're like, Dallas is kind of like, they're kind of spinning. The Eagles are kind of spinning. The Giants they've been spun. So it's just Washington. And there's such a wild card right now. There's so many unknowns between, owner, coach, new players.
Number 2 overall pick.
Number 2 overall pick. So many unknowns. They're such a wild card. They could shoot to the top. They could completely bottom out. I just feel like there's so many possibilities for them. Where the other teams, you kind of know their strengths and weaknesses and see them kind of spiraling out of control. It's hard to get a real clear picture of Washington right now.
Yeah.
Which makes it kind of exciting.
Yeah. I mean,
our division is one of the most competitive and one of the most dysfunctional in all of football. So it always keeps it interesting.
Yeah. And there's never it's been 21 seasons since there's been a repeat champion.
Never been back to back, yeah.
So sorry, Dallas. Yeah, that means Dallas isn't going to win if that streak keeps up. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just weird right now. I feel like there's so much chaos going on with the other 3 teams. And then Washington is just like, hey, remember us? We got the number 2 overall pick. All right, we'll stay in the background for right now.
Sometimes staying quiet is the way to go. They're the only ones that haven't really been making the headlines.
Yeah.
They're cooking behind the scenes. Let them cook.
I don't know if you want to use that phrase because the last quarterback that was cooking apparently just got cut and was willing to be paid out $85 million in dead cap space to not cook anymore. Stop doing that.
We tasted what you made. You can keep it.
Yeah.
Please send this back to the kitchen.
And don't ever cook again.
Don't ever cook again. I don't like what you're serving.
Yeah.
Rich is referring to the Denver Broncos, who outright just cut Russell Wilson.
Oh, no! We suck again!
Yeah, Broncos, sorry, you're going back into the basement now.
It's so... I mean, the deal was wild to begin with.
Yeah.
I mean, you go back to when he was first dealt to the Broncos, they gave up, 2 firsts, 2 seconds, a 4th, a 5th, and 3 players,
yeah.
I think there was 1 or 2 other things in there, too, for Russell Wilson and a 4th rounder. And then they gave him, $200 and some million?
Yeah, on an extension, yep.
And it was 2 losing seasons.
Yep.
Worst. And that's it.
I'm pretty much safe in saying this is going to be the worst trade ever in NFL history.
Yeah.
Like, this did not benefit the Broncos at all. Not in one facet of the game.
No, maybe they sold extra tickets that first year.
Yeah.
That might be it.
They sold a
Jersey
couple extra
sales?
jerseys. Good job. That's it.
But, yeah, I mean, just what a failure of an experiment.
What's even weirder, though, is the Broncos weren't like a bottom feeder. They weren't a bottom 5 team.
No, they were.
They had pieces. They had a decent offensive line. They had running backs. They had Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah.
Like, there was pieces here. This should have been a success, or at least a competent offensive unit, and it just never got off the ground.
I mean, even by their own internal logic, like, you go and you get a guy like Russell Wilson, you pay that much because you think you're ready to go and win something.
Yeah.
So
ready to take the next step.
Yeah, and so the fact that they didn't, I mean, I think it's more an indictment on Russell Wilson than it is on the team. Because by our logic and by their logic, they're like, this is the missing piece, and the missing piece implodes the team. That something's wrong with the piece.
Yeah.
Not the team. You know? But not only did he ruin the team these past 2 years, but he ruined the team for the future as well, because you mentioned the $85 million in dead cap space. That's an NFL record. It's also more.
It's over the next 2 seasons.
Over the next 2 seasons.
So just to get this number straight.
It doesn't all hit this season.
No, but they're still pretty heavy. In 2024, the Broncos will owe $35.5 million to Russell Wilson to not play for them. And then in 2025, $49.5 million.
That's a lot of money.
Woo.
Man, that sucks.
I declare bankruptcy!
Yeah, I think
maybe not quite for the Broncos, but pretty close.
Thank God they got the $30 million salary cap bonus or whatever. Like,
yeah.
Thank God they have that to help absorb this.
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine if the cap didn't go up by like a record-setting amount? They'd really be feeling it.
Yeah. They might as well just punt 2024.
Yeah. But just an insane amount of dead cap space. This is becoming more and more of a thing. Like,
this is also a little bit shocking. Well, of course, shocking. But it's more shocking when I think about Sean Payton.
What about
He's
him?
going to be turning 61.
Okay.
He's just going to start over with the Broncos. I don't know. That seems like a lot.
Coaches coach until they're about 70. He's got 9 years.
I don't know.
If
he seems
wants.
high strung. I think he's going to have a heart attack. I showed you that video when he's yelling at Russell Wilson.
He was freaking out.
He was red. He looked like a tomato face. He's going to have a heart attack.
Does the altitude help with that or hurt that, do you think? I don't know my science enough. Is it worse for his blood pressure or better for it? I don't know. We need like a doctor on here.
Why do you ask me medical questions? I don't know.
I don't know. I just
Is it? I guess is it less resistance because the balls travel farther in Denver?
Maybe he's got a little bit of wiggle room with his blood pressure.
Maybe. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
We'll find out this year, I guess.
Yeah, someone call a doctor. I don't know what to tell you.
But no, I think Sean Payton, I mean, if he, whatever. I don't like the guy. I think he's scum, so whatever happens, and it's, it's whatever. But that was so mean.
Sorry, I feel it too.
He's kind of a jerk, right?
Yeah.
He had the whole Bounty Gate and everything.
I never liked Bounty Gate.
I think he's overrated. Like he won that one Super Bowl because he had one of the best quarterbacks of all time.
Yeah,
but
Drew Brees in his prime.
What has he done without Drew Brees or before Drew Brees? I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, he'll be fine. I couldn't care less about Sean Payton. I'm just interested with the Denver Broncos just swallowing this dead cap hit, and it's going to become more and more of a thing for the NFL that teams have to actively plan around, because I think it's a natural, kind of consequence of these guaranteed contracts.
Yep.
Before the contracts were, a lot of guaranteed money, they could cut and move players as much as they wanted to. Now that contracts are guaranteed, we saw for a while teams sticking with guys far longer than they should have. And now we're seeing teams, you know what? Let's take the dead cap hit. Let's structure the contract in such a way that we can spread the dead cap money over. That's what Howie Roseman does. Like Howie Roseman carries a lot of dead cap, but he structures it smartly to manage it over several years instead of taking $50 million in one go.
Well, yeah. I mean, because when you do something like that, you have to pretty much announce that that's a sunken year. Like you're not going to be able to do anything.
Yeah. It's going to become more and more reality of the NFL. I feel like the Eagles kind of kickstarted it with Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
We kind of took the first plunge. We're like, we're just gonna swallow it.
Yeah.
We're just gonna take it on the chin. Then we were in the Super Bowl a couple years later, so it all worked out. The Denver Broncos might be fine.
Ew.
They might have a bad year or two, but when they get that contract off the books, it lets them do more.
But I think also we got to be honest about the Eagles' run last year in 2022, excuse me. The NFC is, I hate to say it, is significantly weaker than the AFC.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
Like, the Broncos are not going to get away with this. They are going to be in the basement for the next couple of years now.
Especially in their division.
Yeah, Mahomes and Herbert. Herbert now getting to with Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Chargers are going to be much better in the future.
But also the Raiders have a lot of positivity. They really like their new coach.
Yep.
Like there's like a sense of excitement there. So all of a sudden Denver's like without a franchise quarterback. Sean Payton's like tomato faced on the sidelines perpetually.
Yeah.
So there's kind of like a weird vibe.
And they're not going to have any money. I don't know. I think the Broncos are going to be entering some dark times coming up the next couple seasons.
Yeah. Well, give them a year or two. Once this dead cap clears their books, they can really focus on rebuilding in earnest. Like if they go out and they get a solid
I think
quarterback.
I really hope I what you just said about the Eagles, they cut Carson Wentz and then they make the Super Bowl a couple years later.
That's an outlier. I know.
Yeah. If a GM thinks that can happen to them, you better be in the NFC.
Because
start off with that. You better be in the weaker conference.
It's not just making the big cut. You have to have a plan. Like the Eagles cut Wentz because they had Hurts. And they got Hurts because I think we're all safe in saying now that the Eagles realized Wentz wasn't the guy. And they planned for his exit, and they knew they were going to take that dead cap hit. That is clear now several years after the fact, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like when they drafted him, everybody was like, what are they thinking? They knew exactly what they were thinking. That was exit plan. The Broncos don't have that.
Yeah, they don't got anybody.
They just did the first part of the plan. They didn't do the second part. If you're going to mimic the Eagles and think you're going to get to a Super Bowl in 2 years, you got to have the second part of the plan. Just cutting the guy, it doesn't fix it. You have to have you have to have part B, you know?
Well, maybe part B's in the draft. We'll find out because
Maybe.
Yeah, there's a lot of smoke screen going off as to who's going to move up.
Or maybe it's another quarterback. One of two guys rumored to hit the trade market from the NFC North, either Justin Fields or Kirk Cousins.
Well, no. Well, so Justin Fields would have to be traded. Kirk Cousins,
he's a free agent.
He's a free agent. So,
but either of those guys,
interesting distinction there.
It could be a completely different division heading into the season.
So here's another weird thing.
What if they do this? What if they swap?
Swap what?
Well, what happens if the Vikings trade for Justin Fields, let Kirk Cousins walk, and the Bears sign Kirk Cousins?
That could happen. But I heard another funny thing that wouldn't be out of the realm of impossibility would be if Washington drafts a quarterback and then they want a veteran to like show him the ropes.
Right.
Welcome back, Kirk Cousins.
Cousins comes back. You like that, huh? Stupid ass Kirk Cousins.
Just for you, Mike. You get to see Kirk Cousins twice a year.
What a phony. So can we all agree now that I was right? Okay, I knew that I was right, but I feel extra right now. I feel like double right. That Kirk Cousins stole like hundreds of millions of dollars
for nothing.
And everybody was like, Sam Bradford remember, everyone's like, he got paid for nothing. No, Kirk Cousins got paid for nothing. He took a 13-3 team, led them to a 7-9 record the next year, and they got another $90 million. I don't understand.
There was one year they went like 12-5.
Ooh,
and then they lost the first round of the playoffs.
12-5 with a team that had already gone 13-3. It's like insanity. Kirk Cousins, what a stat padding
Well, guess what? He might be. You might have to see his face twice a season next year.
I mean, sure. Like, come on. As a backup, I don't care. As long as we're schooling the Washington football team Commanders.
All right. Well, since you mentioned Justin Fields, one more thing we want to get to. I mean, I know you hate Kirk Cousins, and it would be great to crap on Kirk Cousins for 40 minutes, but really the first domino is going to be the Chicago Bears because they have the number 1 overall draft pick. They've got Justin Fields.
Well, I'll tell you what.
What do you think they are going to do? Because that to me, whatever you think about that decision is how you think the next 3 months are going to go in the NFL.
All of these moves we just talked about, Dak, Daniel Jones, Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson, really just tanks Justin Fields' trade value. Like, teams know now that all of a sudden there is or will be an influx of quarterbacks. Why go to Chicago and offer them anything when you can just ride it out? So Chicago is in a really tough position here. They either have to take sub-market value for Justin Fields, or, they just draft a guy and run with both of them and just ride out Justin Fields' contract if they can't find the value that they're looking for. I mean, would you be willing to let a young quarterback go for like a 6th or 7th rounder? 5th, 6th, or 7th rounder? Is that enough?
Well, the problem's going to be...
Because I think his trade value with all these moves is just tanked. Like, if I'm another GM, I'm like Kirk Cousins, Daniel Jones, Russell Wilson, I got my pick.
It took a hit. I think you're right on that.
Yeah.
But I think Justin Fields, though... You're still going to get him on a cheap contract for this upcoming season. So,
but would you be willing? See, if I'm the Bears GM, I'm thinking I
should have traded him 2 weeks ago.
Should either trade him 2 weeks ago, or I have 2 top 10 picks. I can really build a strong foundation here. Give Justin Fields one more season with these new top tier prospects.
You're going with keep Justin Fields?
You got 2 top 10 picks. You know what helps a quarterback? A better offensive line and more offensive weapons.
Ooh, bold, Mikey. Ooh.
What would you do?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the answer was clear-cut to go with Caleb Williams, but there is probably an issue now that you're not going to get the fair value on what you should be getting with Justin Fields.
Well, here's the other part of my plan. Since I'm not going quarterback 1 overall,
Trade down.
I trade down. I
Yep.
rack up first-round picks for this year and next year. That's how you build a team. You know, we all joke like, oh, Arizona had the right idea. But now I'm looking at Arizona in hindsight, and I think that they kind of messed up with drafting 3 quarterbacks in the top 10 basically in a 5-year span. And now they don't have any other team around them. Where now the Chicago Bears, they could take the opposite tack. They could continue to struggle, but set themselves up with multiple firsts for a couple years in a row and build an entire starting team over the course of the next 2 or 3 drafts.
Now, here's something else, too, is just making me think of this. Caleb Williams has been kind of, I don't want to say diva-ish, but he's been kind of making a couple of weird moves where, like, he's saying, like, I'm not going to get the medical evaluation. He denied that at the combine. He denied not to throw at the combine.
Yeah, the combine is always a weird time.
Do you think there might be a little bit of just, like, kind of agita here that, like, he's like, you know what, I don't want to go to Chicago. Yeah, I'm going to make this a little bit rough.
I mean, I definitely wouldn't want to go to Chicago if I were a quarterback.
Yeah.
If I were any other position, I'd be like, sure, maybe, but definitely not quarterback. They don't treat them well there. So if you're asking, is he doing this to get out of being drafted by Chicago? Maybe.
If he is, it might be working.
Could he also hurt his draft stock in general? Also, maybe. But I think he's going to be fine at the end of the day. He's not going to leave the top like 5 or 6. Like, he's going to be snatched up very, very early.
Yeah.
Maybe not 1 or 2 overall, but he'll go high enough that he won't have to worry about his financial future. We'll put it that way.
I still think he'll be 1. Oh, yeah.
You still think he'll be 1 overall?
The hype around him is ridiculous. Oh,
just
yeah.
not to Chicago. Or do you think
Well-
Chicago just? So you asked me my opinion. You're the Bears GM. Go ahead. You make the call. It's draft day. You had your 15 minutes.
Yeah, I would have thought.
Hurry up! You're on the clock.
Right. I would have thought the answer would be to try and get what you can for Justin Fields, and it's just logical sense. Restart the rookie quarterback clock over.
But like, what team is calling you, and what are they offering? Because all of a sudden, there's like 4 quarterbacks out there that just hit the open market, or will hit the open market. Or like in the case of Dak Prescott, Jerry Jones just said he's not re-signing him. I'll just wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a really crap position for the Bears.
Maybe any day 2 draft pick.
Any day 2 draft pick?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that might be what you're going to have to settle on.
Man.
If you're only doing Justin Fields.
Right. I mean, if you're packaging some things together. Justin Fields for like a 2nd or a 3rd, that's a tough pill.
A little bit, but at least you get something for him.
So you think they're going Caleb Williams?
To me, that makes the most sense. I mean, just so you have that ability to restart the rookie quarterback contract clock.
Do you think there's a world in which they keep both?
No.
No?
No.
They're not going to pull a San Fran?
No. Don't do this.
It's been done before.
No.
It's been done before.
No.
And San Fran made a Super Bowl.
They didn't do it last year. No.
Look, here's what you do. You take the 1st overall, and then you take the last overall, get 2 new quarterbacks. So now you have
Mr. Relevant and Mr. Irrelevant.
Mr. Super Relevant, Mr. Irrelevant, and then some guy named Justin Fields. You have your quarterback competition. Whoever wins, wins. That's what San Fran did.
All right, but I'm going to...
You're not buying it?
No, I'm going to go with the old adage that if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have 0 quarterbacks.
Mm.
It's just the way football is played. You can't have... There's been teams that have tried this before. Jets. You try and do 2 quarterbacks at the same time. Doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. The NFL has not cracked that code yet.
All right. On that note, we got to leave the football realm, and we're going to go to our segment where we're going to hit a couple of little topics in 3 minutes or less with the 3-minute drill. You ready, Mike?
Let's do it.
All right. Clock is armed. There you go. 3 minutes.
Well, in a little bit of more upsetting Philadelphia news, the Philadelphia Phillies rubbed salt into the wound by announcing they're getting rid of dollar dogs at Citizens Bank Park in the 2024 season.
No, God, please, no!
Yep.
No!
Yeah.
Dollar dog nights are no more. That sucks.
Yeah.
And apparently they're doing it because there are like food fights or whatever, whatever BS reason they give. What's your read on the situation? Is this just money grubbing behavior?
I think so, but it actually doesn't look good that somebody bought like 20 hot dogs and was throwing them at players. Yeah, we can't have a good thing here in Philadelphia.
I did say earlier, it is kind of our fault a little bit when people say the Philadelphia fans.
Whoops.
But I think this just bugs me so much. It's been a staple for the Phillies for how many years have they been doing it? Like years and years they've been doing this.
Yeah, it's a shame.
It is really a shame. There's something about a ballpark hot dog. Like
Perfect.
It's so tasty. It's so good. Those dollar dogs was just it really is a shame.
Yeah.
But the sad news doesn't end there. A lot of disappointing news in the Sports Sampler this week. Wrestling legend Sting has officially retired at the age of 64 after 39 years in the ring. Sting was one of my personal favorites. I did not watch a single one of his matches. He's my favorite because he was always my go-to character in the PlayStation 1 WCW versus NWO or whatever it was.
Yeah, you got it.
I mean, so good. He's basically a Mortal Kombat character in real life. That's how I viewed him as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, no, you're on to something because he's iconic. He's had the face paint all throughout the years in various stages of art form.
He's just so badass.
Yeah, he had the bat with him. Like you knew he was a guy not to mess with.
Was he actually a good wrestler? Because he was good in the game.
Yes.
But he was, okay.
Multiple
so like Hall of Fame worthy.
Yes, multiple-time world champion.
Nice.
He even goes out undefeated as a tag team champion with Darby Allin.
I don't know who that is, but yes, I like it.
He went out on top.
He went out on top. Love to see it.
So, I mean, all props all around. Sting was able to give one last great match. Also, for considering how old he is, he was still pretty nimble around the ring. It was crazy.
64.
Yeah.
I didn't realize people wrestled that late in life.
Well,
honestly seems dangerous. Well, wrestled, I guess, in quotes.
Well, it is physical.
Physical
Activity.
Yeah.
It ain't ballet.
No, it's not. Oh, ballet's tough. You ever seen a ballet dancer's feet?
Yeah. Oh no, not good. So. All right, there you go.
What was that?
That was the end of the 3 minutes.
Oh, okay.
That's the sounder.
That's the sound that ballerinas make when they crush their toes.
So there you go. That was the ending.
That was all of Philadelphia crying.
Yeah, exactly. That's
over Jason Kelce and dollar dogs.
Yes.
Rough day.
Yeah,
rough
we
day.
are not having a good week here in Philadelphia.
No.
So that's everyone in South Philly. All right. Well, speaking of sad things, we do have to take a little bit of a break to regroup and get things ready for the entertainment entree and then the non-fortune cookie odd news when we come back from the break. Don't go anywhere. This is the Crispy Noodle Podcast. We'll be right back.
Ready for the weekend? Happy Friday. Hi, my name's Marie, and I'm an artist who's been making Happy Friday doodles every week for over 7 years. And now you can own my art collection in this Volume 1 and Volume 2 art series. These doodles span across multiple themes, yearly festivities, various countries, languages, and more. Both coffee table books have something for everyone and are the perfect conversation starter or gift for a friend. Really, anyone who enjoys a good weekend. Available on Amazon, Ingram, BookBaby,
Barnes & Noble,
and more. Visit happyfridaydoodles.com/books and get your copies today. Let's celebrate the best day of the week. Happy Friday.
Just a moment, you just assured me that I could speak.
Sit down inside the car. We're not assuring anything. We're under arrest.
Look, I'm under what?
Come on.
Gentlemen, This is Democracy Manifest. Have a look at the headlock here. See that chap over there? Get your hand off my penis! This is the bloke who got me on the penis before.
Get some cups.
Why did you do this to me?
Hop in the car. Get some cups.
For what reason? What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? Oh, that's a nice headlock, sir. Oh, yes. I see that you know your judo well. Good one. And you, sir, are you waiting to receive my limp penis? Now, get your hands off there.
No, we've only got one cup.
Ta-ta and farewell.
So I guess get him in the car.
One cup, look. They even broke.
There you go. Welcome back with Democracy Manifest. Still,
You love that clip.
I do. Just that man had just no qualms. Just like, I'm going to say whatever I want to say. I'm enjoying a nice succulent Chinese meal.
He makes it sound so good.
Yeah, I want a succulent Chinese meal now.
Have you had a succulent Chinese meal?
I thought I did, but maybe I didn't.
You hear that guy and you're like, now I'm questioning the succulentness of my Chinese meals.
Yes.
You know?
So
I feel like I'm maybe missing out.
Yeah, so we need to have research done in this. What's the true succulent meal we can get here in Philadelphia?
What's your go-to Chinese order? Like first thing that pops in your head, you go to any Chinese food place, this is you're going to get something good.
Well, I usually stick with General Tso's chicken. I mean,
yes.
If you mess up General Tso's chicken, then you're not a good Chinese food
That's
place.
the only right answer, by the way. Did you know that?
Thank you. Thank you.
No, but that's what you go with?
Either that or chicken and garlic sauce. That's another one.
That's another really good one.
If you mess up chicken with garlic and chicken, you mess up those two, I can't trust you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm always General Tso's chicken as well. I like an egg foo young with the brown sauce.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Very good.
What's your favorite Chinese food, audience?
Yeah, let us know. Let us know in the comments before we get too hungry here, because you keep talking food. I'm gonna stop the show and start getting some food.
Go get a late night order.
Yep. But no, we got to go to our second batch topic. Revolves around movies, TV, and video games, folks. It is time for the entertainment entree.
And now, the latest in movies.
The Simpson guy writes to movies. Dear Die Hard, you rock. Especially when that guy was on the roof.
Music.
I know what that is. That's music.
Video games.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
Celebrities.
You really know Warren Beatty? Yes, I do. I took a leak next to him once at the Golden Globes.
And more.
Who are the all-singing, all-dancing crap of the world?
This is the entertainment entree.
All right, officially in entertainment entree mode. And we're going to kick it off with the segment where Mike is going to let you know what you should keep an eye out for this upcoming weekend with new video games, TV, and movies in Mike's This Week in Entertainment. All right, Mikey, what do you got for the people at home?
All right, first up, real quick, in video games, it's a new month, which means new free games for PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live Gold subscribers. So make sure you go and check those out. In television, of course, one big TV event. It's the 96th Academy Awards airing on ABC this Sunday, March 10th at 7 p.m. So make sure you go check out all of those amazing movies. We've talked about it at length. We're not going to waste more time on it here because it's pretty clear Oppenheimer is probably going to sweep many of the awards.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a teaser for next week's episode. It's either we talk about how awesome Oppenheimer is, or we talk about whatever category there is an upset where Oppenheimer does not win.
Right. So
that's the game plan for next week. I'm telling you right now.
if you haven't seen Oppenheimer, you have a couple days left. Go watch it so you know what the hype is about. Other movies to keep an eye on in the Academy Awards. Barbie, of course, big pop culture movie this past year. Killers of the Flower Moon, Martin Scorsese, another fantastic movie. Also, two big award getters, Poor Things and American Fiction, pulling down a lot of nominations as well. So go check out those movies. They will be some of the big winners probably during this year's Academy Awards. But speaking of movies in theaters, actually not in theaters, on Amazon Prime, we have a new comedy, Ricky Stenicki, is an Amazon Prime Video exclusive. I just think this is such an interesting but dumb premise.
Okay.
Three lifelong friends have always used a made-up fourth friend, Ricky Stenicki, as an alibi and excuse for their hijinks, but when their wives and partners begin to suspect something is odd, the friends have to hire a male stripper to act as their made-up friend. And of course, this person, ingrains himself into their lives and starts causing a whole bunch of trouble. He gets, a job at their place of employment and everything. So, and of course, a whole bunch of hilarity ensues. It's probably not going to do very well, but it's a dumb, fun sounding plot.
Okay.
Go check it out. That's Ricky Stenicki on Amazon Prime Video. But in theaters, if you want something a bit more intense, check out Imaginary. It's a new psychological horror movie about a woman who moves back into her childhood home where her youngest stepdaughter develops an eerie attachment to a stuffed bear she finds in the basement. And that sounds absolutely awful. Why would you move into a house here's this creepy ass bear in the basement. This
you go.
This is going to be my new friend.
Yeah, give it to the kid.
It's a demon, guys. It's always a demon. Don't take the stuffed bear in the basement. Facts. And that's what we're looking forward to this week in entertainment.
All right, there you go. This week in entertainment, Mike is not a fan of the demons coming out of the basement or anything like that.
Demon? Stop calling it that. Demon. Stop it. Stop talking to it. No, I just want to talk to the demons.
That's not Mike.
If you find a stuffed animal in a dark basement that's been left over from the previous owners, it is haunted.
Hey there, demons. It's me, your boy. I'm standing near your hole, and it's very dark.
Don't go near the dark holes, kids. They're dangerous.
Good rule of thumb.
It's a good rule of thumb. But anyway, moving quickly along.
If none of those things interest you, just rewatch old episodes of BuzzFeed Unsolved and Ghost Files.
Ghost Files is where it's at right now, man.
Yeah.
Not the biggest fan of Mystery Files.
Oh,
I still like them.
I like them, yeah.
Yeah, I think Ghost Files is still my favorite, though.
Yeah, Ghost Files is very similar to BuzzFeed Unsolved.
Let's be clear. BuzzFeed Unsolved was the very best. You're not going to top BuzzFeed Unsolved.
Yeah.
But
Ghost Files is doing a good job.
Yeah, they're doing a very good job. Go check them out. They're great guys over there at Watcher.
Yeah. Anyway,
another great guy in the world of film is Chris Evans. Recently making some headlines by speaking up in favor of Marvel, saying that Marvel doesn't get enough credit for making good movies. This is a topic we talk about a lot on the podcast.
Oh, good for you.
I think Christian Bale doesn't like this.
Yeah.
Oh, good for you.
Well, he picked the wrong side, honestly. You know?
He did well with Batman, but yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
But he should have come to the Marvel side. Actually, he was on the Marvel side, wasn't he? Wasn't he in Thor, Thunder and Love? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
Yeah, now I don't know.
I'm thinking of somebody else.
Anyway,
Chris Evans likes Marvel, and he says, quote, "These are big, giant movies. There's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, but the empirical evidence is in. They are not easy to make. If it were easier, there would be a lot more good ones." So his main claim here is that Marvel doesn't get enough credit for making these very large, very difficult movies to make. They are big movies. It's not a talking head movie. It's a lot of moving pieces between lots of different departments, lots of different people, a lot of hands in the pot. And he says that they deserve more credit for putting out legitimately good movies when they are successful. Rich, what do you think here? Does Marvel not get enough recognition for pulling off what it seems like few others can accomplish, because by his logic, if they were easy, there'd be more good ones.
I don't know. I think this
Are you saying that
I think this
because
is,
you're a DC fan?
No, but I'm saying this is I think you're trying to pat yourself on the back here. I mean,
me or Chris Evans?
Chris Evans.
Okay.
Like, there have definitely been some movies that Marvel has come out and I go, whoa, wow, they did a good job with that movie.
Okay.
It just seems recently, though, in Phase 4 and 5, they've missed the mark a lot.
They have.
And
absolutely,
I don't think that's us burying Marvel or not giving enough respect to Marvel or not giving enough dap to Marvel.
Always give dap to Marvel.
I'm bringing the word back, dap.
You are. That has been your soapbox.
These Generation Alpha people, they get flowers. I'm bringing back dap.
All right.
Anyway,
I
only give dap when it is deservedly due.
Deservedly due dap. That's
right.
The best dap there is.
Yes, that's my brand.
Definitely deservedly dap is due.
Correct.
Any more D's we can throw in there?
And in my opinion, for Marvel, I think between Phase 4 and 5, I was really only super impressed with Loki 2. I really Loki 2. I thought really was I guess Phase 4 was also
Loki 1. Yeah,
Loki 1 and 2 I thought was really well done. I would give the dap on that. But the rest of the movies, I think they've been misfires. I don't think Guardians 3 was good, but I don't really have a desire to go and rewatch it. So I don't know.
I was just gonna say, every movie that I'm like, this has been enjoyable. There's been just as many moments where you could point to major issues with the film too. Like Guardians 3, great movie. I couldn't even tell you what the villain's name is.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
He's just blue, purple color palette man with psychic powers.
Blue color man.
He's like the ninjas from Mortal Kombat. They just swap out the color and they change the fireball a different color, and they're like, it's a new villain.
Yes. It's not fire. It's ice.
It's ice now.
Oh,
yeah.
now it's earth.
Oh yeah, right.
Now it's magic.
My other problem with Phase 4 and 5 is, we touched on this in previous weeks, is just there's so much of it.
Yeah.
That so much of it gets lost. Like, when you go back to the previous phases, it's much clearer what's in each phase and like how it all kind of fit together. Phase 4 and 5 have been all over the place. So many movies, so many TV shows. There's been a lot of good ones. Moon Knight was very good.
I forgot about Moon Knight. Yeah, you're right. Moon Knight
No
was
idea
good.
how that fits in. Loki, fantastic. No idea how that fits in. WandaVision, one of the best Marvel properties. No idea how that fits in. Are you seeing a trend?
They tied that in with Doctor Strange.
But how does that fit in? Just because a show connects to a movie doesn't mean it fits. Miss Marvel, great, connects to the Marvels, which was a fun movie. I wouldn't call it art or cinema.
Neither would the critic, the Metacritic, because
no, it would not.
Their ratings went down on that one.
Have you seen it?
No. I know. I decided not to see it because
what do you think the average runtime of a Marvel movie should be?
2 hours, please.
Okay, how about 140?
Whoa.
Yeah, and it has 3 main characters. They're doing entire character arcs in like 3 minutes instead of 3 hours.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's weird. That doesn't sound like Marvel.
I never gave an official review of it, but my biggest complaint is the pacing was just wildly inconsistent. Like some characters like, I'm so depressed because I feel like I failed. And then somebody's like, it's okay, cheer up. And they're like, you're right, I'm doing better now. Like in the span of like a handful of minutes, they just go through this entire
sounds like a TV show.
Emotional.
It sounds like that should have been a TV show.
You think?
Yeah.
So anyway, the point that I'm getting at is that, as of recent, Marvel has come under a lot of flack, and I think deservedly so. I've been one of their biggest champions, but I'm also, because I'm such a big fan, we talk about this with being Philadelphia fans, I give them a lot of flack when they deserve it, and I think they deserve it. Now, having said that, I do think that generally people see the term superhero movie as an immediate negative. And I think that if that's what Chris Evans is talking about, That, I think, is a problem. And I've long said that because there have been movies like Civil War, Black Panther, the first Guardians of the Galaxy, most of the Spider-Man movies in the MCU just go above and beyond. Like, they are legitimately great movies.
Not the Spider-Man movies in the Sony universe.
You watch yourself. You watch yourself now. No, yeah, two completely different Spider-Men that never the twain shall meet, except in No Way Home. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. So I think in that regard, Chris Evans is absolutely right. I think that if you say, oh, superhero movie bad, superhero movie schlock, superhero movie not high art, I'd say get down off the high horse. And
so, yeah, you're going after the Scorsese crowd.
A little bit, yeah, because it's long been my belief that just because it's superhero movie doesn't automatically make it bad. Are there bad ones? Absolutely. Are there bad talking head movies? Also, absolutely. Go watch Maestro and tell me that isn't worse than Guardians 3. Right now, that was nominated for Best Picture. It was awful.
Ooh, wow.
And I will stand by that. I love Bradley Cooper, but that was not a good movie.
Mike is not giving daps.
I'm serious.
No dap.
I'm serious. It was not a good movie. I do not give it dap. So I think that just because something is a superhero movie, it should not automatically be written off. But again, I do agree with what you're saying. Recently, Marvel does not have a lot to stand on.
Correct.
And if they want to go back to being respected, like I just mentioned, they need to seriously reevaluate. They need to get back to what made it good. Civil War, Black Panther, the emotional journeys, the interpersonal conflicts, things like the Marvels, things like the Eternals. Just don't. Just be done with it. They're not.
Yeah,
trim
Eternals.
down on the TV shows too. There's so many. Like, are you going to watch Agatha Christie or whatever? Not Agatha Christie. That's an author. Yeah. No, go read Agatha Christie. She's good. What's the show? Harkness. Yeah. Are you going to watch that?
Probably not.
Did you watch Secret Invasion?
No.
There's too many.
Yeah.
There's too many, and they don't mean anything.
And I watched the Eternals for some reason, and that was bad.
Well, I watched it. If you count like dozing through half of it watching
that was a stinger. I was like, I wasted 2 hours there. That was bad.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I will say, though, one more thing on Chris Evans' point. He does make a good point, though, that I think not a lot of people recognize. These movies are ridiculously hard to make, as evidenced by the failures of Phase 4 and 5.
Or how about when you get to the end of the movie and you're waiting for the post-credit scene, and then you see how many people are involved in the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually a list that goes 5 minutes, 6 minutes.
Yeah. So when individuals, and I don't mean to pick on Marty because I know you're a big fan, but when individuals like him say like they're not good movies, I really think it's damaging to the work and the legacy of these films. Of all the people that go into it and how difficult it is to make it, and I don't think it's entirely fair. I do agree that Phase 4 and 5 absolutely suck, though.
And
I went on a huge rant. My time is over. You go.
And I will agree with that statement, but I would also urge everyone to keep in mind that Martin Scorsese is like 80 years old.
He is. He's very old.
He's old school. Like you're not going to get that out of his head.
You're never going to get him to say, "I really enjoyed Spider-Man."
Right.
Like he's just not wired that way. You know who else isn't wired that way? This is a perfect transition. Willem Dafoe. Legend in the film world. He recently, by recently, I mean, several, when did this article come out? A while ago. We've been holding on to this one. He criticized streaming and the lack of the ability for audiences to pay attention and discuss films. I think this is interesting and kind of ties into the whole Marvel thing and the way we consume content nowadays. He has a long quote here about the lack of discourse around movies. He says, quote, "The kind of attention that people give at home isn't the same. More difficult movies, more challenging movies cannot do as well when you don't have an audience that's really paying attention. I miss the social thing of where movies fit in the world. You go see a movie, you go out to dinner, you talk about it later, and that spreads out. People now go home, they say, 'Hey, honey, let's watch something stupid tonight.' And they flip through and they watch 5 minutes of 10 movies and they say, 'Forget it, let's go to bed.' Where's that discourse found?" Rich, what do you think? Do you think he's onto something here, or do you think that this is just another case of like an old Marty type movie industry person? Do you feel dumber watching streaming movies?
To a degree, he is right on some things, because I think about Oppenheimer.
Okay.
I am so thankful I watched Oppenheimer in a movie theater.
Yeah.
Rachel and I went to go see it in IMAX because it had special IMAX run.
Yep.
I'm so glad that we saw that in the movie theater.
That would not have hit the same on the home screen.
No, because and it's just the way things are when you're at home. Like, you got your pets, you've got, things hit the house, or you've got somebody knocking on your door.
The phone is ringing and the delivery comes.
Yeah. Like, if you're going to watch something at home, it needs to be something that isn't critically thinking, so that you can handle the distractions that might come up. Like, unless you are lucky enough to have a dedicated soundproof room in your house where you won't be disturbed when you put on a movie.
You lock up the pets and the kids.
I mean, if you're lucky enough to do that, like, then sure, go ahead. But most people don't, and that definitely, I think, plays a role in how you get to see some of the more highbrow movies. I think he's not wrong. He might be a little.
Do you think it's a little extreme? But he's not totally off the mark.
Right. He might be a little,
alarmist
or a little highbrow. Because at the same time, I still do like streaming.
Yeah.
But I think he's right. Especially the quote that really got me was when he's talking about difficult movies, challenging movies.
Right.
That's the nail on the head. You got to see those movies in an actual theater where you can dedicate 2 hours, 3 hours into the movie, and you can actually analyze it and appreciate it.
You know what? I completely disagree.
Okay.
Well, no.
Well, screw you. What do you want?
No, I will say this. In terms of movies like Oppenheimer, there are definitely movies where you and Willem Dafoe are correct that should be seen on the big screen because it is a cinematic experience. But I offer you this. How many Best Picture nominees have you seen?
Nominees?
Yeah.
Yeah, not a whole lot.
You've seen 2.
Yeah.
Oppenheimer and Barbie, both on the big screen. I've seen 7. Do you know where I watched 5 of those 7?
Yeah.
On the television screen. And I think that it makes it more accessible.
But just a minute ago, you were saying that Maestro was a piece of crap.
It was.
So, I mean, I don't know, dude. I don't know how.
It was. I'm not going to lie. It was pretty. I didn't like it. It's subjective. I didn't like it. But what I'm saying is that I think streaming makes it more accessible, where
yes.
I would never have gone and paid for a theater ticket to go see Killers of the Flower Moon. I don't have 5 hours to no, I'm serious. I'm serious.
Hours.
Rich, the movie was 3.5 hours, 20 minutes for pre-roll ads, driving to and from the theater. That is 5 hours for a movie that you have to spend $40 to get into.
Well, you're getting bang for your buck then. I don't know. What do you want me to tell you?
I guess you are getting bang for your buck. But the point
better
is,
than an hour 40 than you're getting with the stupid Marvels.
The Marvels, yeah. That was not the bang for the buck. But the point that I'm chasing here is that I was able to watch way more Best Picture nominees the past 2 years than I ever have before in our years of covering the Academy Awards for the podcast because of streaming. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, that's fine, but in terms of what Dafoe's saying for difficult movies and challenging movies, I think that makes the difference here. We're not talking about just like
but we're not going
general
to, but we're not going to see them. I mean that's the thing. People aren't going to see those movies. And I think that we've talked about it before. They need to get on board with this new way of consuming content because I don't think it's ever going to go back to the previous way.
I agree with you there. Oh, yeah. The genie's out of the bottle now.
Like Martin Scorsese, I mean, he's very old school. He put his movie out on Apple TV+. He's like, forget the theaters. Apple TV Plus is going to let me make this 3.5-hour epic about this string of crimes in Oklahoma or wherever it was, and Apple's like, sure, let's do it. Would a traditional studio have done that for him? I don't know.
No. A matter of fact, The Irishman, too, another one.
Yeah.
Netflix allowed him to be the vehicle to get that done.
I will say that you and Willem Dafoe are correct in that you do have to be dedicated to watching them. Just because they're accessible doesn't make it easy to digest them the way they should be.
Yeah.
I think that's a clear distinction. Like, just because you can watch them doesn't mean you're watching them, I don't want to say correctly, but in the right frame of mind. Because when you're at home, you are on your phone and you're getting up and you're getting the snacks. Somebody's at the door. Oh, I'm expecting a delivery. Or, let me break to go do this or go do that.
Yeah.
You do have to hold yourself to a slightly higher standard when watching these movies if you want to get that cinema experience. So I will agree that it does make that element of it harder, but it makes at least accessing them easier. So it's kind of this like trade-off, like pros and cons. Like, it makes them more available, but at the same time, it makes it harder to actually devote the mental space to them.
And that's my concern when it comes to the more difficult movies, more challenging movies.
Right.
So that's what I would focus on in that quote.
It's a very complicated topic that doesn't have a clear-cut answer. I think personally, this is where I'm going to sound like so movie snobbish. Like, I really appreciate being able to watch them via streaming because I find that I can, personally, I'm the type of person that can devote, when I want to watch a movie, I will sit down, I will watch it, I will, think about and talk about it with my fiance and with my family and my friends and everything like that. I realize that's not the truth for a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people are watching like the TV shows and just real, quick one and done. So, I mean, maybe there's a hint of truth to what Willem Dafoe is saying, but I would encourage people to give it a try, to give those more complicated movies a try. I know it's hard because, like, what he said, I've said that many times. Like, what do you want to watch? Let's watch something stupid.
Yeah.
There is always that pull, and that is part of it as well. You have to go out and actively seek them out, because if you don't, then you are going to end up watching Love is Blind
over and over,
or whatever people watch these days. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever Netflix puts out.
All right. Well, speaking of something stupid tonight, how about we get to the last part of the show where you will definitely get something stupid, and that is the non-fortune cookie odd news.
We've been talking about cool and its ramifications and how it applies to the hip scene. But maybe you could give us some examples now of the opposite of cool, uncool. Just exactly what is uncool?
My nipples look like milk duds.
Holy shnikes.
It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
It's not of this world. I don't know exactly what it is or what it's doing, but this is not human intelligence, okay? It's not human intelligence we're facing.
How you doing? Me? I'm doing great.
Manda de bastata. I don't make this stuff up.
I'll take a pound of nuts.
That's a lot of nuts. That'll be $4, baby. You want fries with that?
I seen the celery dance across the baseball fields.
You had me at meat tornado.
No, go past this part. In fact, never play this again.
Okay. What does that mean?
And now it's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
So sit back, get everything you need to get from the kitchen. Be sure and empty the bladders. Go to the bathroom because you're in for a hell of a ride.
Woo! Odd news.
That's right, everyone. It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news. Here in this segment, Rich researches the news, he reads the news, and I react to the news. He finds a weird and wacky story and keeps it hidden from me, which ensures that all of my reactions are my genuine gut reactions to hearing this story for the very first time. I don't know what's about to happen. You guys don't know what's about to happen. And even Rich doesn't know what's about to happen, because these stories always take us down wacky and wild paths. And I'm ready to get started. Where are we heading to and why?
All right. Well, you know what? It's been a while. Let's head back home.
It's Florida, and they're crazy.
Yeah, it's time to go back to Florida.
Now, who is this guy in Florida?
It's like a well-trodden path.
Yeah.
You know the way. Without even looking where you're going, you find yourself circling back to that comfortable space.
You sound like a D&D narrator right
Florida.
now.
Yeah. I've been playing too much Baldur's Gate 3.
Your eyes circle the map, and your eyes cannot glance away from that little dog that hangs from the southeast corner.
That little dog that hangs. You're
Florida.
drawn to it like a moth to flame.
Florida
calls to you in the night. Rich, can we roll to resist the pull of Florida? I don't think we can.
No. Oh boy. I this story.
Uh-oh.
This
All right,
guy.
I'm bracing.
Yeah. This is not a pleasant story. This guy definitely rolled a 1.
Oh no!
In terms of things that could have gone wrong.
That's the worst. All right, hit us with it.
Yeah. This story is kind of so embarrassing and gross that I don't have the victim's name. He's literally referred to as just the unidentified patient.
Oh, patient?
Yeah.
Like a medical patient?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So,
no.
Yeah,
this is really bad.
Yeah.
I'm already very nervous.
First reported by Jacksonville's First Coast News and then rebroadcast by the Huffington Post. So this is legit.
Wow, this got pretty big then.
Yeah. A Florida man first experienced some weird symptoms in October. He said that he would visit the hospital occasionally after he felt that his face was on fire.
Oh, that sounds not good.
Or is that just Florida? Just I'm in Florida.
It does get hot down there. It's very humid. You know, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, right? You know, maybe it's just Florida.
Yeah.
But over time, the patient said that that it started turning into swelling.
Oh.
My lips swelled up. I could hardly talk.
Oh God.
Then the final straw was I was going to the bathroom and my nose continued to bleed constantly.
Oh.
So, yeah, this is definitely...
Something is not well.
That is correct. Yeah,
Okay.
when blood is coming out of one of your...
like that much blood, yeah, not good.
Blood should not be coming out of one of the holes in your head this often.
No.
Not a good sign.
No.
Yeah. So the man eventually went to HCA Florida Memorial Hospital in Jacksonville. Dr. David Carlson, who is an ear, nose, and throat specialist, was luckily there.
Okay.
And decided to get a camera and look into his nasal cavities.
Right.
And it was there that this man turned out he had over 150 bugs and larvae in his sinuses.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 It's about to get all stupid up in here!
Yeah.
No. Nope.
Mike is done. That's it.
I'm done.
That's the end of the story. We don't want any more.
Oh man.
No moss. No moss.
Just the clenching in my stomach upon hearing that. So just like packed in there?
Yes.
How?
Larvae.
How?
Yeah.
Did all of them get in there? Oh my God. Like how? Well, that explains the bleeding. That's for sure.
Yep. Dr. Carlson said that, quote, I knew he was suddenly in big trouble.
Well, yeah.
There was erosion that was occurring near the skull base.
Erosion?
Yes.
That's something you should only hear about in geology class. Erosion?
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Like when the ocean washes away the beaches? Erosion?
Yes. This is happening near his skull.
I reiterate once again, no. Okay, so the bugs are eating his skull.
Yeah, in some way, shape, or form. I don't know about eating. I don't know if eating is the right term, but they are definitely wearing away, the tissue and elements of the skull.
Makes me feel unwell. Okay.
At the time of this camera session, Dr. Carlson also noted that they were advancing to his eye and his brain.
Oh man!
So it's a good thing he finally went to the ER because this thing's about to get much worse. Their first tactic was to try and do suction to remove the insects, but some of the larvae had grown into full bugs.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
How, like, embedded were they that they wouldn't come out, like, with suction? And also, what kind of bugs? Does it say?
No. They don't have the specific bugs. They've been sent to they've been sent to an epidemiologist to determine their species. That's in the report.
Oh my God! So they couldn't suction it out. They were really in there.
The ones that had grown, yes.
I just find that so. Were they like?
Yes.
Were they in?
They're up there.
Were they like in the flesh? Were they like hooked on? Like
yeah, they're up there.
Oh man.
Dr. Carlson had to take the bugs that had grown to full term, had to extract them one by one from the man's nose in a complicated extraction. Oh.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Man, that doctor needs like a couple days off of work after that. I mean,
yeah.
I'm having a rough go of it just listening to it. If I had to go up into somebody's nose and pull them out one by one.
Yeah. Dr. Carlson said that if he had waited another week or two, they would have probably killed him.
Oh my God.
As they would have been advancing to his brain and his eyes.
Jeez, what are they? This really is Baldur's Gate 3.
Yes.
This is literally the plot of Baldur's Gate 3.
Yes.
If Baldur's Gate 3 took place in Florida.
But in Baldur's Gate 3, you only have one bug in there.
Yeah, thankfully.
This is multiple bugs, fully developed, and larvae.
Man.
This is bad.
That's out of control.
Yep.
So a week and they would have just started eating, or not eating, but like being in his brain and eyes. That's like awful.
Yeah, then you're talking about full nervous collapse. Yeah, nervous system collapse.
What would have done this? How did he get that many bugs? Was he like snorting?
Yeah,
like
did he get some weird drugs?
Like spider eggs? Like what was he doing? He's like, oh, these drugs look weird, but okay. He's like snorting spider eggs, or like.
I thought that was cocaine.
Was his house that messy that like hundreds of bugs are just laying? Did he never blow his nose? Like, how do you let that much stuff get that stuck over that period of time?
Well,
you know?
The unidentified victim says that he might have gotten this from handling dead fish. He catches fish in a local river. And he says he rinses his hands in the river, but he never used soap. But that's that's still pretty iffy at best. This is just a freak accident.
Wash your hands.
Yes, that's the thing that he came up with.
I went from feeling bad for him to being like, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, you're fit.
He's
handling
first
dead
off,
fish.
Fishing in a Florida river.
Yeah.
Already don't trust it. Second, why are the fish dead when you're fishing them? Why are you fishing dead fish? Or is he using them as bait? I guess probably.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I guess.
But then you're rinsing your hands
in the river,
in the water
that has killed the fish. Yeah, that may not be a good idea.
Florida's river water. You do know that Florida's like mostly swamp. It's not like
wrong. You're wrong.
It's not like clear babbling brooks from Deer Park. This is fetid swamp marshland.
Mud, yeah.
He's like, nothing a bit of spit and Windex won't clear off. Like, no, wash your freaking hands.
Yeah, put some dirt on it. That'll help.
Oh my God. Of course you got infected?
In between the larvae and the fully grown bugs, the doctor estimated that there was 150 of them.
That's a lot.
Up there.
That's a lot.
150.
That's so many.
Whew.
That's an upsetting number.
Yeah.
Well, first, 1 is an upsetting number.
Yeah, 1 is just an
upsetting
number.
So this is 150 times worse than the worst thing
Yes.
that I can imagine being in your nose.
Oh, maybe you are right. It says here that if they had continued, the fully grown larvae would have needed to feed on the sinus cavity.
Yeah, that's probably why they were like
Ooh.
embedded in there, because
Ooh.
if they were just wriggling around. So I guess you don't have any pictures. I guess there's no pictures.
There is, but I just
you don't
for the sake of my sanity, I did not want to pull them up because they're probably pretty nasty.
Yeah, I don't think I want to look at
Yeah, I think there's definitely lines in the
Just-
sand that
just-
we have here on the podcast.
Answer me one question. They're under the skin probably, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, because if they're just wriggling around, suctioning them out, so the fact that this guy couldn't suction them out meant that they are under the skin. They are inside.
They're burrowing, yeah.
Right, because like your nasal cavity, like it's like open space, and you can suction stuff out of there. That's how blowing your nose works. You
You're right.
blow the stuff out.
Right. That didn't work.
That didn't work. So they're like inside his actual physical fleshy body.
Yeah. It's not good.
That's not good. That's why his whole face was swelling, because they're all
Yeah.
all up in there.
Right. Yep.
That is absolutely awful.
The biggest bugs that were fully grown were as big as the end of a pinky, according to his medical report.
That's huge.
Yeah.
No, but that's like, I know everyone's
Yeah.
like pinky finger small, but just look,
No.
everybody look at your pinky. That is up your nose.
Yeah.
But like 100
and
of them.
multiple of them.
Dude, I would have been banging down the door of doctors' offices to be like, what is wrong with me if my face was like, how did he let it get to that point though?
Yeah, I guess he
You
must
know?
have thought it was just like sinuses.
Really bad sinuses.
And then you're in Florida, maybe that's why you're feeling heat on your face. Oof.
Man.
Well, it does have a happy ending here. The doctors have monitored his recovery, and they said he is going to be A-OK. They have gotten all of the larvae out of his sinuses, and he's expected to make a full 100% recovery. So,
Do you think he'll start washing his hands?
yeah, boy, if that's not a message for you to frickin' wash your hands, I don't know what else is.
It honestly makes perfect sense. Like, you're handling dead meat, and there's like larvae, you know, and like other nasty, creepy crawlies. And then he's like probably sticking his hands on his face and in his nose and stuff. I don't know why you go straight from dead fish. Oh, well, that's right. He rinsed his hands off in the fetid swamp.
Right, you're right. That washed
And then
it,
he
right?
sticks his fingers up his nose.
Right. Then you got a snot rocket.
Right, exactly. You're probably not wrong.
Yeah, you know.
Like, if you're already handling dead fish and washing your hands in the brackish marsh, you're definitely blowing snot rockets into your your
Yeah.
open palm.
It's water. The water will wash it away.
Water will wash it away. No big deal.
There was a bit of a nastiness last night, yes? Some very extreme nastiness, yes? Yes.
That is some extreme nastiness.
I'm too soft for that kind of life.
Yeah.
Like, I could never. People are like, "Oh, isn't it romantic to like go off and like be like live like on the fringe of society?" And,
No.
like, no,
No. The answer is no.
I need running water. I need soap and air conditioning
Yes.
and less dead things around me.
Yeah. I don't want things that could potentially crawl up my nose.
No, not at all.
Preferably not.
My idea of roughing it is a 2-star hotel. Okay, I'm like, that's roughing it for me.
Yeah.
That I don't know what that is.
That's the odd news.
That's barbarism. Okay, that's like that is straight up Dark Ages.
Yeah. Well, that's what you can find on the odd news sometimes. That was
That's real life Baldur's Gate.
that was a nasty story.
Yeah.
But had to be told. That was too ridiculous. That came across my desk. That was too ridiculous to pass up.
That's nauseating, is what it is.
Yeah.
But that was a good story, though.
Yeah. So there's a lesson for everybody. Wash your hands.
Wash your hands, please.
Jeez, for the love of God.
It takes 30 seconds.
Wash your damn hands.
30 seconds or 30 bugs? Ask yourself that.
Yeah. I want that as a campaign.
30 seconds or $30. That'll get people washing hands.
Yeah,
just put that guy's picture and then be like, and then like a picture of soap.
Yeah.
That's an easy decision.
There you go. Put that out there, FDA or whoever handles that.
One of them.
One of those
One of them guys. CDC, FDA, get together, figure it out.
Yeah. Do it. But for us, the only thing we have to do now is close out the show. We're getting to the end here. Thank you guys for supporting us. If you like what you heard, make sure you go to our website, thecrispynoodle.com. Make sure you follow us on all social media. But most importantly, make sure you have one of the two ways to get our podcast sent to you every week. Number one is on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button so you get the videos sent straight to you. And number two is right on Spotify. We publish the video podcast on Spotify, but through the miracle of Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, you can also use Spotify to listen to us on the go. If you happen to do a road trip, hopefully not to Florida, where you're washing your hands in the mud or river or whatever the hell you're doing.
Wash your hands before handling your phone.
Yeah, do that. That's important. So you can listen to us on the go by using one of those avenues as well.
Yeah, so many ways to check out the Crispy Noodle podcast. But if you need to get in touch with us individually to share your sports, entertainment, or odd news stories, you can find us on X, formerly known as Twitter. I'm at Mikey Costanzo, MikeyCostanzo.
And I am Matt Rich Liebig, RichLiebig. Find us on X. Let us know what's happening. Any odd news, send it my way so that Mikey doesn't see it accidentally. But for right now, we got to start wrapping this up. This has been the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. That'll do it. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Later. Bye-bye, all you fine peoples. Good night.
Some of us have great stories, pretty stories that take place at lakes with boats and friends and noodle salad. A lot of people, that's their story. Good times, noodle salad.